welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 12-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. A lot of games to get through, huge slate tonight. Before we do so, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. I appreciate the recent support I've been getting. Been a lot of good comments, a lot of people enjoying my content, saying they're winning some money. A lot of people really enjoying my Patreon package, so excited that I'm offering you some value. I will be here all NBA DFS season long, breaking down these slates to help you guys become better NBA DFS players. And then, as mentioned, I do have a Patreon package over here on Patreon if you are interested in some further content from me, where you can get access to my premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play context stats, core plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access, where you can ask me questions all the way up until lock. I have received some feedback recently about the Discord chat and the communications overall. I also do offer my tools on Google Sheets, so many times if you're in there checking out my projections, checking out my core plays, those kind of things, I will use the Google Sheets chat to give you updates similar to last night when we heard that Russell Westbrook's minutes would be limited. We also heard that John Wall's minutes would be monitored. And then I would mention I will also be tweeting out as much as possible these updates to give you guys, a little help as far as that's concerned. Follow me over on Twitter at KJK_DFS if you aren't already, where I'll give you all these updates whenever possible. Always trying to retweet important information as it comes out. And then lastly, I have recently partnered with Thrive Fantasy, where you can use promo code KJK DFS to receive a 100% deposit match up to $50 when you deposit $20 or more today. Thrive Fantasy is a player's prop app, so it's similar to these other DFS sites like a DraftKings, like a FanDuel, except when you log in, they offer all sorts of sports. For NBA, you log in for a big slate like this, you have to pick 10 out of the 20 options. They give you 20 options. You pick the over, the under, and you get a point based on the likelihood of it happening. So if you pick the one that's more likely to happen, you're going to get less points. If you pick the one that's less likely to happen, you're going to get more points. So risk-reward format, and a lot less competition over here. I'm really enjoying the format. For instance, this is their big $20 tournament tonight. There's 110 entries, $500 to first place. A lot less competition, a lot less of the sharks over here. You're not dealing with thousands and thousands of entries. So really enjoying the format. Excited to be partnering with Thrive Fantasy. Use promo code KJKDFS to receive a 100% deposit match today. When you deposit $20 or more, up to $50, they'll match you. So take advantage of the free money while you can. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and start breaking down this huge 12-gamer. First game on the slate, Indiana at Charlotte. Right now, Domantas Sabonis is questionable after exiting that last game with a MRI coming back as clean. He's listed as questionable for Wednesday's action. I tend to think he's going to have to miss at least one game. I mean, the guy exited the game after playing 11 minutes and didn't return, so I tend to think they're going to need to sit him out at least one game. I mean, maybe not. That's just me speculating. If he's out, of course, Miles Turner, Malcolm Brogdon are going to become great plays. These guys are both going to receive big usage bumps. So Miles Turner at 7.5, I like targeting the Charlotte front court. Malcolm Brogdon at 8.6. I'm not too worried about the Charlotte defense either as far as the guard position is concerned. And keep in mind, there is no more Victor Oladipo in Indiana, so these guys are receiving a lot more usage as is. So, I mean, if Sabonis is out, that's going to be a big, big bump to these guys. If Sabonis is in, I like him at 9.5. It's just we got to keep an eye on if his minutes are monitored or if they're limiting him at any capacity because of that injury that occurred. So, yeah, that would be my overall breakdown there. I mean, of course, Jeremy Lamb did return last time out. He got a bump up to 5-1, and this is a revenge game taking on his former team in Charlotte. So if Domantas Sabonis is out, I would really like Jeremy Lamb at 5-1. We saw him play 33 minutes last time out when Sabonis exited the game. And then Doug McDermott becomes a viable play as well on the wing. He'll get a few more minutes. Are these guys going to be the best value in the world on the slate? I would guess not. This is a huge slate. I'm guessing we're going to get some news throughout the day that's going to open up some big value. And then on the other side, I'm not really all too interested in too many people here. Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham continue to see huge minutes, around 40 minutes a game. Gordon Hayward would continue to be my favorite play. At 7.5, he makes a lot of sense. I just don't know if this is going to be the fastest pace in the game, fastest pace game on the slate. Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham, same role applies to these guys. 6'9", 6'7", all seeing upper 30s in minutes, all getting around, lower 30 to 40 DraftKings points a game. It's just we really need a lot of upside out of our plays tonight, and it's just such a huge slate. So can you go there? Yes. Are there going to be better options to open up, maybe even cheaper that have more upside? Possibly. So, yeah, just keep an eye on the news throughout the day, obviously, as we go through this slate. Lots to cover. So Detroit taking on Cleveland. Right now, this game comes in with a 214 over under with a 3-point spread in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So 214 over under. I think I can make this game pretty quick. It's a 12-game slate, people. I don't think we need to be targeting a 214 over under. This game is going to be extremely slow. Andre Drummond taking on his former team. You could play the revenge narrative. Sure, his price has come down, started to come down more and more. So maybe he's an interesting play to jump on while you can. If we can afford to pay up at the center position, because 8-4 Andre Drummond could definitely crush that price tag. This guy could put up 60 DraftKings points. He's just seen his usage really take a hit ever since Jarrett Allen came over to Cleveland from Brooklyn. So Jarrett Allen's feeding into his minutes, feeding into his rebounds, all of these things. Is Andre Drummond a possibility? I would say yes. 8-4. This is the cheapest we've seen this guy in a very long time. We were paying 9-2, 9-3, 9-9, 9-4, 9-3 for this guy. Now he's down to 8-8 last time out. Put up 48 DraftKings points. Now he's down to 8-4. So I would not rule playing Andre Drummond out. We'll have to see how he grades out my projections at the end of the day. Larry Nance Jr. is questionable on the Cleveland side. So keep an eye on him. If he does continue to be out, that's a bump for guys like Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, Andre Drummond, JaVale McGee. All those guys are going to receive more minutes. Chetty Osman. On the Detroit side, Blake Griffin has been ruled out. So that's going to make us like, Jeremiah Grant a little more. He is 8-1. This is a very slow-paced game. Probably not looking to go there. Could he give you 50 DraftKings points? Yeah. Is that going to be enough on the slate? I'm not sure. I'm going to be relying on my projections for that one, honestly. It's such a slow-paced game. I have a hard time believing he's going to be a top scorer on the slate. And then, with no Blake Griffin, that's going to make me have more interest in Derrick Rose, Mason Plumlee. Josh Jackson should receive a bit of a usage bump here. Josh Jackson, a guy we've seen have a lot of upside early on in the season. He's priced up to 4-6 now. Hopefully he gets more towards 30 minutes with no, Blake Griffin out there. Mason Plumlee is going to get more rebounding opportunity, so sure, maybe play him. But, Derrick Rose would be my favorite option for sure at 5-3. I guess you could say revenge for Derrick Rose. I don't even know what to think anymore. But he'll be back. You could play him. Kind of sick of talking about this game. Not like we're going to be playing a ton from it, I would assume, on this 12-game slate. Colin Sexton, last guy I will mention. I have to mention him before we continue because he is priced down to 6-6 now. We were paying low 7K range for him. And this guy put up, 63, 41, 32 DraftKings points. So at 6-6, that is an intriguing price tag on Colin Sexton, I will say. He would probably be my favorite play from this game in total based on his price tag and his upside. Sacramento taking on Orlando. Nikola Vucevic at 9-2. This game comes in with a 222 over under, a 1.5 point spread in favor of the Orlando Magic. I love targeting Sacramento. Their defense has been terrible all year long, so that means we're going to like Nikola Vucevic, we're going to like Aaron Gordon, we're going to like Evan Fournier. All three of these guys make a lot of sense in this matchup, taking on the Sacramento team. Nikola Vucevic putting up 57 DraftKings points last time out. That's the kind of upside this guy has. He can get you 60-plus on a good night. Consistently seeing upper 30s to 40 minutes. Same rule applies for Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier. These guys are getting a lot of minutes in this Orlando offense. Upper 30s to 40 minutes. And very good fantasy point per minute producer. So you got to be taking a hard look at all three of these guys. They all make sense. Terence Ross and Cole Anthony are your next guys you're looking to. Really the only guys I'm looking to on the Orlando side, but they do make some sense. Cole Anthony recently really picking up his production on this team, seeing 33, 32 DraftKings points the last two times out. He continues to be priced only at 5-5, so maybe a sneaky play at his 5-5 price tag, taking on this really good matchup in Sacramento. And Terence Ross off the bench at 5-6 has really been struggling after really being hot there for a while. He was way underpriced. And when we were playing him, though, he was priced down here in the mid 5K range. He got priced all the way up to 6-4, 6K, 6-4, 6-1, 5-8, 5-6, 6K. Now he's back down to 5-6. So he's an intriguing play off the bench. He's really been struggling shooting recently. 1 for 8, 4 for 8, 4 for 9. and not getting as much shot volume after seeing 14, 16, 17 shots with no Evan Fournier for a stretch there. He might get a few more shots, and he is always an interesting target of mine to be targeting. Orlando, Michael Carter-Williams is questionable. So if Michael Carter-Williams comes back, that's going to make me like those guards a little less. Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox at 8.7 is a little too priced up for my liking. I think there's probably going to be some other guards on the slate that are cheaper that have the same upside as him, so I wouldn't be playing him. I mean, could he go out there and give you 60, 70 DraftKings points? Sure. In this pace game, I don't think this game's quite fast enough for that. So, after being my lock of the night back on the 17th and putting up 77 DraftKings points, the guy's upside is there. It's just in this particular matchup, I don't know if it's the best one for him to get all the way up there. He could, but I'd rather be going down to a guy like a Buddy Hield at 6'3", getting consistently around 30 minutes. Really good shooter. If he does get hot from behind the three-point arc, his points can add up real quick on DraftKings, so I like him. Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley seeing more of a solidified role on Sacramento recently, getting around 30 minutes a game, 5'7", getting around 30 minutes, could see mid 30 minutes. I do like him at his price tag, over a De'Aaron Fox, and then Halliburton would be the last guy I would mention on the Sacramento side, playing around 30 minutes. If he does get hot, they'll keep him in the game. And he has plenty of upside at his 5.2 price tag. So those are the guys I'd be looking to on the Sacramento side. On the Orlando side, moving further along, Brooklyn at Atlanta. As far as the Vegas line, there is a 7-point spread in favor of the Brooklyn Nets, but there is no over-under. I would expect this game to fly. Brooklyn is going to be a team we can target all year long. I continue to say the same thing about the current landscape of this team, so to speak. You got Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Now, Kevin Durant is a forward, a bigger guy, getting a lot of lower post one-on-one action in this offense, so no matter what, I'm going to like him. However, James Harden and Kyrie Irving are both guards. They are both very on-ball heavy guards, and they continue to cut into each other's usage. So what's happening is, James Harden is affecting Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is affecting James Harden. They're not quite getting those big games that we've seen from them in the past. Now, with all that being said, I do have a feeling, this is just pure speculation on my part, but James Harden has not had a big game since coming over to Brooklyn. I mean, this guy's put up barely 40 DraftKings points, multiple times. He's put up 12 points and 20 points the last 2 times out. This is just me thinking, James Harden's on a new team. They've lost since he's come over. I got a feeling we're seeing a big game out of James Harden tonight. So, I've been saying don't play him. Kyrie Irving and stuff is cutting into his usage. However, sometimes you got to take the whole picture into account, and these guys have lost, what is it now, 2-3 games in a row? I think 3 games in a row. James Harden, a 1.37 DK points per minute producer on the season. Kevin Durant, a 1.48 DK points per minute producer. Kyrie Irving, a 1.4 DK points per minute producer. I just think, 2 out of 3 of these guys are going to have a really big game, and I tend to think it's going to be James Harden and Kevin Durant in this one, the 2 pay-up options. I think Kyrie Irving is going to take a backseat. Now, once again, we've seen these guys cut into each other's usage. Kyrie Irving is still a great play at 8.8. I just think we could get some lower ownership on a guy like a James Harden, who has been really struggling since coming over. Kevin Durant is my preferred option no matter what, so I think that we could be playing both of these guys and feeling good about it in this one. I think James Harden's going to have a big game. I think he's sick of the losing ever since joining Brooklyn. I think he's going to come out and have a big performance tonight. So, yeah, just a little bit of a ramble there, because if you've been watching my content for a while, I've been saying Kyrie Irving, James Harden, don't play these guys, but taking all of the recent events into account, that's my take on that. Trae Young at 9.2, Clint Capella at 9.1 continue to be the 1 and 2 options on this Atlanta side, getting a ton of usage, getting a ton of fantasy point per minute production. Trae Young at 9.2, Clint Capella at 9.1. Both make a lot of sense. Clint Capella, I'm not worried about the defense of DeAndre Jordan and the front court of this Brooklyn team overall. Does not scare me. Putting up 45 DraftKings points last night in only 35 minutes, taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. I'd expect him to see upwards more towards 40. We've seen him put up 76 and 63 DraftKings points. Gonna love the pace in this game. I guarantee it's gonna be high over/under when it comes out, and I think Clint Capella is gonna be my favorite center on the slate as far as a pay-up option. We'll see as we continue along the slate here, but I had mentioned Andre Drummond. I think I would rather play a Clint Capella at 9-1 as opposed to Andre Drummond at 8-4 in a much faster-paced game, much more solidified role. Really like Clint Capella in this one. John Collins, I don't really like at 7-7 because of Clint Capella coming over. I think that's really affecting his rebound upside. At 7-7, I'm not looking to go there. DeAndre Hunter and Kevin Huerter continue to be interesting plays, especially if Cam Reddish is out. We saw DeAndre Hunter get 36 DraftKings points last time out after seeing 46 DraftKings points the time before. This guy's consistently getting a ton of minutes on the team. Good fantasy point per minute producer, so he has his role solidified. Kevin Huerter, I will like as well. At 35 minutes last time, he put up 22 DraftKings. Very scoring reliant, so you need the shooting from Huerter to get there, and now he is priced up at 6K, so I'd rather go to a DeAndre Hunter for sure, but Huerter is viable. Then you got Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Green, all these guys in the cheaper range for Brooklyn. More complementary roles now with these guys coming over. DeAndre Jordan would be my favorite one at the center position. They're going to need him out there guarding Clint Capella because of his size. Joe Harris and Jeff Green both getting a lot of minutes, both could get hot, sure, but I think their usage is really, really taking a hit with this new big three in place, so probably not looking to go there. Joe Harris can get hot from behind the arc, If he's the last guy in your lineup, I'm not going to tell you you're crazy for playing him. That's my overall breakdown on that one. Denver taking on Miami. Nikola Jokic at 10-5. Tyler Hero, Goran Dragic are both listed as questionable. Tyler Hero, a true questionable. Goran Dragic's been listed as questionable pretty consistently now. But he did suffer a left groin strain and is questionable again. So if Tyler Hero's out and Goran Dragic is out, that's going to make Kendrick Nunn a very interesting option. Duncan Robinson a very interesting option. Vincent a very interesting option if he's in. Avery Bradley's questionable. All the guards would become interesting, but Gabe Vincent suffered a right ankle sprain as well in Wednesday's game. So I don't know. Keep an eye on the injury news for sure. As far as my overall interest in this game, I tend to think this is going to be a lower scoring game compared to the rest of the slate. The over-under is not released yet. It is a 5-point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets, but I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye if this total comes out and surprises me. Maybe have some more interest, but I just think there's probably going to be better game environments. Nikola Jokic at 10-5. He's finally seen his price tag come back down after being priced up to 11K, 10-8 the last few times out. He's back down to 10-5. That's a huge drop, but maybe you could jump on him. I'd rather play Clint Capella, as mentioned earlier in that Brooklyn game. Bam Adebayo, can kind of skip over him. I really think this game comes down to Michael Porter Jr. I have interest in at 7K. I'm going to continue to play him in his role on this Denver side. This guy's got 50-plus point upside every single time he takes the floor. Getting a lot of looks. Nikola Jokic really like playing with him. Nikola Jokic preaching to the coaching staff to get him more usage. Michael Porter Jr., my favorite option on the Denver side. You could play Jamal Murray at 7-1, but I tend to think his upside's kind of capped around the 40 DraftKings points. On a typical night, Jamal Murray's that guy that he could randomly just put up 70, and he will do that a couple times a year, but I tend to think he's more than likely going to stay at that 40 mark most nights. So Tyler Hero, Goran Dragic, keep an eye on that news because that's going to impact my interest in this one. I would like Kendrick Nunn. I would like Duncan Robinson a lot more. I would like Andre Iguodala if there continues to be no Vincent, no Avery Bradley. If those guys are back, both of those guys are going to be interesting options as well. Moving further along, Los Angeles Lakers at the Philadelphia 76ers. LeBron James questionable, Anthony Davis questionable. They're questionable every dang game. I would assume they're going to be playing in this one. I don't know why they had to be listed as questionable. They just like to do that. So 9-9 for LeBron James. Game comes with a 2-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Lakers. A game that is going to stay close finally. So that means we can play LeBron James. We can play Anthony Davis, guys that have been involved in a lot of blowouts recently. LeBron returning to Cleveland last time out, putting up 75 DraftKings points in Cleveland. Guy loves to play in Cleveland, so put that one on your notepad if you're playing NBA DFS for the whole season. Mark it down. 7 for 11 from behind the three-point arc, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 46 points for LeBron last time out, and now in another close game, they're going to need his services. He did see a price tag increase up to 9-9 as opposed to 9-3, but in a close game where they need him, I don't care because, as you can see, he does have 75, 80, 90, 100-point upside. He's LeBron James. I think we know who he is at this point in his career. Anthony Davis at 9K is listed as questionable as well. I'd expect him to be a full go. He is my second preferred option. Tougher matchup taking on Embiid than the point guard position of LeBron. LeBron has more usage. LeBron has a higher assist usage upside. LeBron will still get you the rebounds, and LeBron will still get you the points. So I would prefer LeBron James pretty heavily to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has been very underwhelming this season, just kind of along for the ride. Joel Embiid, I do like at 9-4 taking on this Los Angeles Lakers team in a competitive game for sure. Whenever he's in one of these, he's all the way down to 9-4. We were paying 10-1 and 10K for this guy. He's put up 63, 58, and 58 DraftKings points. So a little underpriced. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm playing Embiid and Capella in some lineups. We'll see as we go along the slate, but that would make a lot of sense if we do have the value to fit in around those guys. Ben Simmons at 8-1, not looking to go there with the Sixers fully healthy. I don't really like playing Ben Simmons unless there's a lot of injuries. Tobias Harris at 7-2, you could play. He definitely has the upside to get you there at that price tag. Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, all these second guys off the bench for the Los Angeles Lakers are priced in the mid 5K range. Sure, they could get you there. Are there going to be better options around the same price tags on the slate? I tend to think so. I wouldn't want to be going here. Seth Curry at 4-7 is listed as probable, a very good three-point shooter, and we've seen his price tag continue to decrease after coming back from injury and having his minutes limited due to conditioning. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes in this one, and I think he's a very intriguing play at 4-7. Definitely gets you a lot of DraftKings points. So, Danny Green on the Philadelphia side, revenge game, taking on his former team, the Los Angeles Lakers. You could play that game if you want at 4-3. He could definitely get you there. I tend to think his minutes upside's a little limited with Shake Milton, Seth Curry, all these guys cutting into him. So, I don't really want to go there. And then lastly, you could play Kentavious Caldwell-Pope at 3-9. Same thing. He's getting a lot of minutes on this team, but I don't think the usage is going to be there. So, I'd rather go to other people on the slate. Moving further along. Milwaukee at Toronto. Giannis Antetokounmpo at 10-7. As far as the total in this game, there is no total release. It's a 6-point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks, which means it's expected to stay close, which means I have interest in Giannis Antetokounmpo if we do have the salary options to get up to him. Now, keep in mind, he is priced at 10-7. We have gone over multiple guys on the slate that I like a lot, like Trae Young, Nikola Vucevic, Clint Capella, Kyrie, Irving, Malcolm Brogdon, James Harden, I said I think can have a big game. LeBron James at 9-9. Giannis is arguably the best fantasy point per minute producer in the league. He does make a lot of sense. It's just he's a power forward center position. There are cheaper options that have a ton of upside in faster paced games. So is he necessary? It's probably going to come down to what value opens up on the slate. I'm not telling you to write off Giannis in a close game. He does have, literally a 100-point fantasy point upside. And we will see how he grades on my final projections. Typically speaking, if it's a close game, Giannis always grades out as a really good play if you can have the value in around him. But, just the price tag. There's other guys that are priced a little cheaper. Pascal Siakam is questionable in this one. If he is out, look for guys like an OG Anunoby, like a Chris Boucher to possibly get some more run along with Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson was an interesting value option that actually graded out really well in my projection model last time out at 4K. Probably not looking to go there. We'll have to see how he grades out my final projection run, but I tend to think he's priced up a little too much for my liking and for this large of a slate. It was a much smaller slate last time I played him. However, Chris Boucher and OG Anunoby make a lot of sense if there is no Pascal Siakam. Chris Boucher all the way down to 6'5". This is a guy we were paying 7'3", 7'1" for a while there. And a guy for a while when he was down at 6'5", 5'9", he was putting up 49, 37, 40, 48, 37, 46 DraftKings points. He's really struggled recently, putting up 14, 12, 28, and 28. However, I tend to think he could break out in this one. Chris Boucher, a very good fantasy point producer, so gotta like him. OG Anunoby, 6'6", also an interesting option if there is no Pascal Siakam. He could be an interesting option as well. He's kind of hit or miss. He'll put up a big game or not really do much for you. And then, of course, Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry would both receive usage bumps as well if there is no Pascal Siakam. And in a competitive game, both of these guys getting lots of minutes, high 30s to 40 minutes each game out, they would make a lot of sense as well. As far as anyone else on the Milwaukee side, it's pretty straightforward. I'm looking to play in competitive games Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Chris Middleton at 8-2 really needs to be in a competitive game and playing lots of minutes to get you there. I mean, this guy's got to put up, 60 DraftKings points. Can he do that at that price tag? Yes, I do think he can. It's just kind of more so difficult than other options we've mentioned on the slate. With his usage in the offense, Jrue Holiday at 7-4 would be my favorite option comparative to his price tag. He has lots of upside at that price tag. And then Brook Lopez at 5-3 I like a lot as a center option consistently. It's going to be real difficult for me to fill my center position with Brook Lopez when we have some guys that I really, really like on the slate, like a Clint Capella, like a Joel Embiid. Going to be tough to go there at that center position with him. Boston taking on San Antonio. Jason Tatum comes in at 8-7 price tag after returning from that injury. This game comes in with a 225 over-under with a 3.5-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics are looking like they're healthy now. So, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker all are back. All are going to be kind of feeding into each other's usage. Marcus Smart's priced up way too high for my liking now. I was really liking playing him when he was low 6K range and there were injuries. He's priced all the way up to 6.8 and this team's fully healthy now. Jaylen Brown, same thing applies. I was really enjoying playing him with no Jason Tatum and when he was priced down cheaper. I don't think we can go there at these price tags now. All these guys are back healthy. Jason Tatum makes the most sense just because he's the number one option in the offense consistently, and at 8.7 he could most realistically out of all these options give you 60 DraftKings points, so he'd be my favorite one. Kemba Walker's my favorite one relative to his price tag because he's still priced down at 6.3. He makes the most sense for sure, honestly, because all these other guys are priced up. Kemba Walker is not. He's still sitting around limited minutes, around 30 minutes. However, at 6'3", being the point guard in the offense, getting a lot of on-ball handling duties, he makes a ton of sense. On the San Antonio side, not exactly the best matchup taking on Boston. DeJounte Murray at 6'6" continues to be a good option, seeing around 30 to 40 minutes a game, consistently putting up good performances. I mean, last time out, 31 minutes, putting up 46, 38, and 38 the two times prior. Makes a lot of sense. He's going to get a tough matchup taking on the Boston team with help out of Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown defense. Even if Kemba Walker's guarding him, he's going to run into those guys when trying to dribble up, drive to the lane. And honestly, I'm not all too interested in anyone on the San Antonio side. LaMarcus Aldridge does make sense. He's a little bit versatile in his production. They're going to need his big body out there, though, taking on the likes of Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson, Robert Williams, all these guys on the Boston side. So I could see him having a big game and in more of a half-court setting, making sense as a guy that could have a big, making sense as a good play in this one. He could have a big game. He could also go out there and get you like 20 DraftKings points. So buyer beware. Risk-reward play there. Washington taking on New Orleans. This game comes in right now with a 7.5-point spread in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. So it could be a blowout for New Orleans. However, if it's not, I'm going to really like the pace in this one. Russell Westbrook being limited minutes last time out. On a back-to-back, could be rested. If he's rested, I'm going to absolutely love Bradley Beal at his 10-2 price tag. I don't care. He will get a ton of shots. He's been seeing a ton of shots as is. 28, 29, 22, 29, 35 shots. This guy's going to shoot a ton, especially if Russell Westbrook's out. I would love him. And then, of course, if Westbrook's out, that opens up usage for guys like Jerome Robinson. If Ish Smith's back, he makes sense. You got to keep an eye on that news. Matthews. All of these guys would become more viable plays. Davis Bertans, Rui Hachimura. All this injury news is going to impact who we like on this team. So, for my Patreon members, keep an eye on my projections. Keep an eye on who I'm liking for my core plays because I could see liking these guys in a fast-paced game. It's just we need some injury news. On the New Orleans side, it's Brandon Ingram, it's Zion Williamson. They're really the only two I'm looking to, playing a ton of minutes, finally seeing their price tags come back down in a matchup that's finally feasible to get up there in fantasy point production. I do like both of these guys a lot. Even though they're priced up, they finally have a matchup to where they can actually get you there. Eric Bledsoe, Lonzo Ball continue to see their minutes kind of split, but they're both priced down in the 5K range, so they're going to make a lot of sense in this matchup. It doesn't get much better than taking on this Washington team. So both these guys priced in the mid-5K range make a lot of sense on the slate. And then as far as anyone else on the New Orleans side, not really looking to go there. More role players. I think that's pretty much all we're targeting in this one. OKC taking on Phoenix. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander comes in at 8.5. This game comes in right now with a 6.5-point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns. There will be no Devin Booker in this one. He's already been announced as out. Al Horford continues to be listed as questionable after missing many games. If he is back, it could be an interesting option at 5.6. I would be fading Isaiah Roby at 5K for sure if he's back. Probably fading Isaiah Roby as is, even if he's out at 5K, taking on this Phoenix team, who has been pretty good defensively. I don't expect this game to be a fast-paced game, so I'm really just looking to play Chris Paul, taking on his former team in OKC. I'm really going to like him at 7.6 with no Devin Booker. So we had mentioned playing some cheaper guards at the point guard position. I forget who I was talking about, to be honest, in this massive slate, but there was a guy, he's priced up. I'm saying, hey, there's going to be some cheaper options with some more usage. Chris Paul's the guy I had in mind at 7.6. Makes a lot of sense on this slate with no Devin Booker. Can definitely smash that price tag. And then DeAndre Ayton at 7.3. Another great center play. Going to see more usage with no Devin Booker as well. Then you could play a Mikal Bridges. You could play a Cameron Johnson and Jay Crowder. Less reliable options. I'm really looking to play Chris Paul. I'm really looking to play DeAndre Ayton. Jay Crowder did see 45 minutes last time out and put up 38 DraftKings points. So if he's going to continue to see big run, at 4.9, he makes a lot of sense. Same thing for Cameron Johnson, but we'll see how these guys grade out for sure. Dario Saric continues to be out, so I think they're going to continue to see big minutes. They could be interesting value options. I'd like to see how they grade out my final projection run, but makes some sense as some value plays there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the most obvious play on the OKC side at 8.5. It's just a little bit of a slower paced game. We were paying 8.1 for him. Now he's up to 8.5. I'm not looking to pay 8.5 when I can pay it 7.6 for a guy in Chris Paul. So perfect example there, 1-versus-1 comparison. Dallas taking on Utah. No total release in this game so far. Actually, no, there was a total. Sorry, I lied to you guys. 222.5 over under with a 4-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. 225.5 over under. We could be playing Luka Doncic as always at 10.9. I mean, this guy's a very high priority, putting up 86 DraftKings points last time out, 45, 66. Arguably the best fantasy point per minute producer. Right now, based on my model, he is the second best fantasy point per minute producer as far as starters in the league. Nikola Jokic being 1, Luka Doncic being 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo being 3. But Luka Doncic is getting a ton of minutes. A guy that's seeing around 40 minutes a game as opposed to Giannis Antetokounmpo, who could see only in the mid-low 30s. Luka Doncic continues to make a ton of sense as a play. As far as everyone else in this game, I honestly don't want to spend too much time on it. Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, both make sense on the Utah side. Both guys have a usage, both priced in the low 6K range, the high 5K range. They both make a lot of sense. Some big upside guys there. Rudy Gobert at 7.2 you could be playing in this game. On the cheaper end, I just really like Clint Capella, as mentioned earlier. Rudy Gobert does get a really good matchup as far as not having to take on a dominant big and Willie Cauley-Stein. The problem is I could see this game going small, and then Rudy Gobert's going to get run off the floor. So Kristaps Porzingis at 8.2 continues to see his minutes somewhat limited after returning from injury. I'm not looking to pay that price tag for him. Donovan Mitchell's too priced up, in my opinion. That's pretty much my breakdown here. Minnesota taking on Golden State last game on the slate. D'Angelo Russell is listed as questionable. Hoping he can be back. The same game was the one I was talking about. It's going to be a revenge game against his former team. Last time out, I was hoping he would be in the game. He was out. 8-point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. I really like Seth Curry taking on Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is dreadful. He put up 53 DraftKings points last time out, but keep in mind it was a blowout, so he put up 53 in only 34 minutes. If he gets like 40 minutes, that could easily turn into 70 with his three-point shooting ability. Gotta really like Steph Curry in this one. I would really like D'Angelo Russell if he's going to be back. Hopefully he's back. We need someone to keep this game close, so I would really like him. I would really like Andrew Wiggins. I do like Andrew Wiggins taking on his former team. Put up 43 DraftKings points last time out in only 30 minutes. I think this guy's going to ball out every single time he takes on Minnesota the rest of his career, so I like him. Malik Beasley continues to see a lot of usage with no Karl-Anthony Towns. He's an interesting option at 6.7 in this matchup. Kelly Oubre Jr. at 5.9. Rumors of him, Golden State wanting to trade him because of his outrageous contract, which is understandable. This guy just continues to bounce around because of how much he costs. But he does make sense to play at 5.9. And yeah, that's pretty much my overall breakdown. This one, you can play James Wiseman, you can play a Nas Reed as well, the two big guys, but really looking to play Steph Curry, D'Angelo Russell, Andrew Wiggins, Malik Beasley. And that is my overall breakdown of this huge 12-game NBA DFS slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Chris Paul at this 7.6 salary. As mentioned, no Devin Booker in this one. I expect this guy to get a big usage bump. Last time out, putting up 56.75 DraftKings points. He did get a slight price tag increase, but at only 7.6, I don't think that's going to be enough to slow him down. Taking on his former team in OKC, you can add in the revenge narrative, and this guy is a guy who's been putting up 1.08 DK points per minute on the season, consistently seeing 30-plus minutes in competitive games, all the way up to 39 and 42 as of late. Last time out playing the 23rd, today is the 27th, plenty of days for rest. Everything adds up for Chris Paul to have a huge game in this one at his price tag, and there's no doubt that he is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Chris Paul, get him in your lineups. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. I do greatly appreciate the support the channel has been receiving, all the good comments, all the appreciation shown towards me. Really appreciate you guys as well. You can check out my Patreon package, link below in the description, where you can get access to my premium NBA projections, my NBA core plays, people really liking those, getting a lot of good feedback, so check that out if interested. And then don't forget to check out Thrive Fantasy. Use promo code KJK DFS to receive a 100% deposit bonus when you deposit $20 or more, up to $50 today. Great format, great edge over there to be had. Go ahead and play over there while it continues to be small, because before these guys blow up like the rest of the sites like DraftKings and FanDuel, the competition's always the easiest, so get in on the action today. Use promo code KJK DFS to receive that free money. And that is all for me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Wish you all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.